Live from JoJo Cool's home in Easley, South Carolina, it's the JoJo Cool Football Pick Show, Week 2.
Hi, my name is JoJo Cool. This is Outlaw Jimmy James, and this is Jonas Gray, our guest picker today.
All right, as you can tell, JoJo has a cold and she's about to catch laryngitis. So she'll do some talking, but I'll do some talking too. But as she said, we got Jonas Gray here with us, a Bulldog fan. So Jonas, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, because we're trying to figure that out.
Why am I a dog fan? Well, anything's better than the Clemson Tigers, first off. So I think that's probably about the best explanation you can get right there. But Jonas from Liberty. So been dog fan for probably since about high school. So just pulling for him.
So you've been a dog fan about as long as we've been Tiger fans about all our lives. Okay, so good. People are probably wondering why I'm wearing the Oregon shirt. I got fans from around the country wants me to wear their gear for the different teams. So next week I'll have another shirt on a different team. But I am a Clemson and LSU fan, so I will be wearing some of that as well. But Jonas, let's talk a little bit about the expansion. How do you feel about the conference expansions, conferences shutting down, and things like that?
I like the geography of it. I think going over all the Pac-12s, jumping over to the Big Tens, and then you got the ACC trying to pull in people from the Midwest and all the Deep South. It don't make no sense to me. I don't care for it too much, to be honest.
To me either, and I don't like it. As JoJo and I were talking last week, we like the tradition of the Pac-12 playing each other, old Southwest Conference. Mm-hmm. But I don't mind, in a way, Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. But I'd love to see Clemson and Florida State go because that would make that conference even stronger. But I don't see any sense in why the Pac-12 teams are going Midwest and East. You know, they're talking about Stanford and another team, was it Washington State going to ACC? Yep. It makes no sense at all to me. So, but JoJo, how do you feel about it again?
I don't mind because then you get to have different teams play that other teams that hadn't really played in a while or ever. So it's really nice to see something different for once.
Yeah, I like to see different teams. You and I, we've traveled to a lot of schools, seen a lot of different schools. And in fact, this weekend we're going down and watch the Georgia Tech Louisville game. See that. We enjoy college football, even though we're Tiger fans. But we just love the purity of college football, and we're going to watch it. Why don't we go ahead and jump into the top 25 and your picks as well. Let's go with number 1, Georgia against UT Martin. Let's get our guest picker to pick who he thinks is going to win first, and then we'll take it from there.
My notes say dogs by 100.
Dogs by 100. I too have Georgia picked to beat UT Martin by a big sum. And JoJo, what do you think about that?
I feel the same way. UT Martin is just kind of almost getting paid to come to Georgia and get beat, but at least they get some exposure for their school.
Exactly, and they get a lesson taught to them as well. All right, next up we got number 2, Michigan and East Carolina.
If it was at East Carolina, I would probably say East Carolina because they do put up a good fight. But Michigan, if it's at Michigan, I'm going with Michigan.
The other one was Michigan as well too. They're at the big house, and it's just tough to beat them up there unless you're from a school from the Southeastern Conference or maybe even ACC. It seems like those two conferences have the Big Ten's number. JoJo, what do you think?
I do like Michigan over East Carolina. I don't think it's going to be a big win, but I do think it'll be a close, tight game.
Awesome. Then next up, we got number 3, Ohio State, and they're playing Indiana.
I would like Indiana to win, but we're going to go with Ohio State.
Exactly. I'm pulling for Indiana, but Ohio State big over Indiana.
I agree with you, Ohio State.
All right, and number 4, Alabama. A lot of people have picked them to win the national championship against Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, we're going to go with Bama on that one.
Alabama, I too am going to pick Alabama to win big, I think, over Middle Tennessee State. JoJo?
I like Alabama too, and as I said last week, I picked Alabama to win the SEC and go to the playoffs. And Herb Street, McAfee, and Desmond Howard also had them going as well.
Yeah, I got Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee, not Tennessee, but Ohio State and Michigan going to playoffs. The reason why, it's going to be hard to keep Alabama and both Georgia out of the playoffs. even though they might meet each other, well, they will meet each other in the SEC championship. It's going to be hard to keep them out of one of those teams with one loss. And I think the way the NCAA is now, they want Ohio State and Michigan in there. And if they got a winning record, they're going to put them in there. That's what I'm thinking. That's political, even though they may not deserve it, but I think they're going to be in there because of that reason. I think there's some more schools from the South that could really take their place and put up better numbers than those two big schools. All right, up next, this is the game I got started. It's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be a battle.
Sunday night game.
Sunday night game. Number 5 LSU and number 8 Florida State. That's going to be tough. I'll flip-flop back and forth on that one. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but I'm going to let Jonas go first, and I'll tell you who I got.
I'm kind of with you, flip-flopping back and forth, but seeing that it's in Florida State, or was it playing Orlando, I'm going to go with Florida State this time.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and it was hard to pick, but I think LSU's ticked off from last year, and they are the SEC, which is hard to beat. Even though I like the ACC schools, but LSU is my second favorite team behind Clemson. I'm going LSU.
I'm going to disagree with both of you.
Uh-oh.
I'm picking Florida State. They won last year on Sunday.
I picked Florida State.
I think she's been drinking a little bit.
Maybe.
You're disagreeing with me and agreeing with him, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
It was a close game last year, and it was on a Sunday too. But I think Florida State's going to win by big this time.
Oh, by big. Ooh,
I
okay.
think the reason Florida State would probably pull it out is because you've got returners. Everybody's returning from Florida State, and you never know how LSU is going to do. And I know they've got some people out with suspensions and everything like that right now as well.
Exactly. Then up next we got number 6 Southern Cal going up against Nevada. Who you got?
Trojans.
Trojans all the way against Nevada. I think they're going to whip up on the Mountain West Conference team pretty easy.
I got Southern Cal too, but their defense this past weekend was not great. They got 28 points put on them, and if they don't do anything different, they might not win the Pac-12. They're going to have some challenges, some struggles, so they need to lock it up and start playing better defense.
Exactly. Number 7 Penn State against West Virginia.
Knee lines all the way.
Nittany Lions, I agree.
Penn State.
Penn State. All right, up next we got number 9 Clemson against Duke. At Duke.
I would love to choose Duke. But if I had to put money on it, I'd probably roll with the Tigers.
I'm going to roll with Tigers. It's going to be a tougher game than most people think. It's at Duke. Duke has been really playing some good ball as of the last couple of years, even though they haven't won a conference. They did play Alabama a few years ago. Really, really tough the first half before Alabama pulled it out. Duke has some good coaching, but I'm going to say Clemson in a tight one.
I'm also picking Clemson. I believe in Cade Klubnik and Garrett Riley, that combination. I think Garrett Riley did a great job at TCU last year, and I think it'll rub off on Clemson and Cade. I'm going with Clemson at the Monday night win.
Awesome. And then number 10, Washington, Boise State.
Yeah, Huskies. I know Boise State's a good team, and I know they've always had good teams in the past, but I think with Michael Penix coming back and everything, he's just top-notch quarterback.
Exactly. Washington State will beat them at least by 17 points, I believe.
I like Washington State as well.
All right, up next, we got one of your favorite teams, Texas against their old Southwest Conference rival, Rice. I got to go with Texas. Who you got?
As Josh Pate always says, you don't play with food. So give me the Longhorns by 100.
Hook 'em, go Horns.
Number 12, Tennessee and UVA. Who you got?
Rocky Top.
I too am going to go Tennessee, even though UVA is doing a little bit better with their new coach. But Tennessee's much too strong for them.
I want to pick Tennessee, even though I'm not really big on Tennessee this year. But I'm picking Tennessee up for Virginia in a tight game. The reason I'm not big on Tennessee is they get a good year almost every 20 years. Almost 20 years ago, they played really well. They're really highly ranked. Clemson won the bowl game that year, and they went horribly down the hill after that. Then last year, Tennessee did really well, and then they played Clemson again in the bowl game. But this time, Tennessee wins. So I think Tennessee's going to win this one, but I don't have any more hope for that team this year.
All right, up next, Notre Dame and Tennessee State.
Fighting Irish.
Fighting Irish will destroy Tennessee State, I believe.
Notre Dame, they put up a good show this past weekend. I think they'll win.
All right, up next, Utah will take on Florida.
That's a Thursday game too.
There's the game.
8 o'clock kickoff. I think I got Florida in the upset. I know that they had them last year at Florida, and I know that this one's at Utah, and that all depends on if Cam Rising's back for this game. I know he had surgery after the season last year, but I just think with you being down there in the South, it means a little bit more in the Pac-12. So I'm gonna roll with Florida.
Number 14, Utah. I think they're going to fall to Florida. It's going to be a tough one, almost like the Florida State LSU game.
Yeah.
But I do think Florida will pull it out and beat them, depending on if he is quarterback, Rising's quarterback.
I'm going a little different. I'm picking Utah. As I said last week, I picked Utah to go all the way to the Final Four. And as of the other day, I heard Cam Rising was going to be on the chart.
Oh, man.
So hopefully he'll be good and healthy. So I'm picking Cam and Utah to win over Florida.
All right, up next, number 15, Oregon and Portland State.
Your team.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Ducks. Bo Nix is he's done a heck of a lot better since he's been with Oregon and all that. And, I mean, granted, Dan Lanning, hell of a coach when he was at Georgia anyway. So he just kind of, I don't know. I like the Ducks.
Yeah, the Ducks are going to win big over Portland State.
I like Oregon. Hopefully Bo Nix won't throw as many interceptions as he did at the beginning of last year, and apparently he did at Auburn too. But I think Oregon turned it around at the second half of that last year. So I think they're going to do pretty well this year as well.
It's real hard for these Pac-12 and these big schools to play up against the SEC and a few of the ACC schools because they do get whipped pretty regular when they do play them. So yeah, you're right. Number 16, Kansas State and Southeast Missouri State.
Kansas State.
I picked number 16, Kansas State to win big over Southeast Missouri State.
I like K-State. I've always liked K-State, but you never know what kind of team you're going to get with them. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're really not. So I don't think it's going to be a big scoring game. I think it's going to be kind of tight.
Wow, okay. Number 17, TCU and Colorado. Deion Sanders, big game.
Coach Prime.
Debut as the Colorado coach. Who you got?
TCU.
You got TCU.
Probably going to murder them.
As you and I were talking earlier, I flip-flopped back and forth on that. I thought the game at first was at Colorado, but I found out it's not. I was going to go with Colorado, but I think I'm going to go with TCU since it's at TCU. And Prime Time will lose his debut game against TCU.
I'm picking TCU too because a lot of people jumped out from Colorado when they heard about Deion Sanders. I don't think he has what it takes to be a coach in college football, so I'm going with TCU.
All right. Number 18, Oregon State and San Jose State.
DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah, I like the Bees on this. I know San Jose, they played USC pretty good, but Oregon State, I'm going to have to go with Oregon State on this one.
DJ, former Clemson quarterback at Oregon State now. I think he's going to have a good year, but I think he's going to struggle a little bit this first game, trying to get used to the system. San Jose State will be after him, but I'm going to go with the Beavers to win it.
I like San Jose State. They did do really good against Southern Cal, and I don't believe in DJ, so I'm going with San Jose State.
Wow. All right. Number 19, Wisconsin and Buffalo.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, the Big will win, over the Middle American Conference every time. Wisconsin over Buffalo.
I like Wisconsin as well.
All right. How about Oklahoma and Arkansas State?
Go with the Sooners, future SEC people.
Oh yeah, I think the Sooners will, struggle the first couple of series, but then they're going to open it up and beat Arkansas State pretty good.
I think it'll be a tight game, but yeah, Oklahoma will win.
All right, and then the Battle of the Carolinas. How about number 21 North Carolina against South Carolina?
They got game day this week as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go with the upset and go South Carolina.
All right, I too. I'm going to go with South Carolina, even though North Carolina's favored. South Carolina's had their numbers for the last several times they played. I'm going with South Carolina. It pains me to say it.
What's that line? 4.5 right now?
4.5.
I'm going with North Carolina on this one. I think they got some good returners coming. They played some good ball last year. They're going to take the battle of the Carolinas.
I hope you're right,
That
JoJo.
defense is trash, though.
I hope you're right, JoJo. 22, Ole Miss and Mercer.
Ole Miss. It's Lane Kiffin.
Number 22, Ole Miss and Mercer.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ole Miss and the Lane train.
I think Ole Miss will win over the Bears pretty easily.
I like Ole Miss in this one as well.
All right. Number 23, Texas A&M against New Mexico.
Give me the Aggies.
Aggies will whoop up on them pretty good. They're playing pretty hot ball right now, and I think that Texas A&M will take it.
Texas A&M in a really close game.
All right, number 24, Tulane, one of my old hometown schools in New Orleans, against South Alabama.
I like Tulane. They ended their season pretty good last year, especially beating USC in that big bowl game. Was it the Cotton Bowl, I believe it was? Yeah, I'm riding the wave.
I'm going to ride the green wave myself. They're really riding high right now. They need to get in a Power 5 conference. Somebody needs to give them a chance. Tulane over South Alabama.
I'm going with Tulane.
All right, now final game for the top 25, Iowa and Utah State.
I like Iowa. I got Iowa wrote down, but also know Utah State. They play pretty hard too,
They do.
especially when it comes to big games. They can get up when they have to. I got Iowa wrote down, but I think I'm gonna switch mine up and say Utah State.
Oh wow, okay. I'm going to pick Iowa just because they. I think they get a little bit more power, a little bit more strength than Utah State, so Iowa over Utah State.
I'm going with Iowa.
All right. I see, Jordan, that you got a few notes there on some of the games that we talked about. Is there anything else you want to cover on those at all? Or?
I think that's about it.
Well, I tell you, we really appreciated our guest speaker today, Jonas, coming in. We had rescheduled several times because of scheduling conflicts with our star of the show, JoJo Cool, the female phenom. But we're glad you got to make it.
Yep.
We hope that all of Jonas's friends and family will tune in and watch this Wednesday. We may try to have it up tomorrow if we can. But if you will, next week as well, we're going to have another guest speaker, David Garrett from Life FM Gospel Radio. That's the Southern Gospel Radio Station. And he will be here. He goes by Super Dave, so look for that next week. And until then, it's Outlaw Jimmy James, along with Jonas Gray, and our star here,
JoJo Cool.
JoJo Cool. We're saying goodbye to you, and Jonas, thanks again.
Sir.